air, and via all Igniting Change with Barbara Arnwine platforms by host Barbara Arnwine Esquire. Guests and supporters are their own and are independent of any organization, entity. Nothing said on the show or any of its platforms constitutes a client-attorney relationship or serves as legal advice, counsel. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to Igniting Change, its platforms, or the show's host. It's time now for Igniting Change, a weekly provocative and empowering program where you, the listener, can ignite change. Now here's your host, Barbara Arnwine.
Get up, stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Igniting Change. Oh, my goodness, I'm so excited. Our show is now in its 9th year. Yes, folks, 9 years we've been bringing you Igniting Change, and we are so excited. And when I say we, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about all of you who have been listening all these years from all around the country. And I'm also talking about my mighty co-host, the one and only chair of the Transformative Justice Committee, a coalition's board, a remarkable leader, one of the nation's foremost attorneys. I'm talking about my co-host, the one and only Daryl Jones. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Barbara, it must be Tuesday, it must be noon Eastern Standard Time, because we're talking about igniting change here at WOL Radio. Barbara, it's such a great time to be here, and as you know, if you are in New Hampshire, today is your day. You're getting your vote on in the state of New Hampshire. Make it happen, make it happen, make it happen. But, Barbara, also today...
And Daryl, we got to warn those New Hampshire voters that there's an evil robocall that's going around right now that the U.S. House of Representatives has called on the Department of Justice to investigate, telling people don't vote, no vote today. So be aware, folks. This is an evil campaign. Anybody who tells you don't vote, no vote is not your friend, is not trying to help promote our democracy. Right, Daryl?
Absolutely, Barbara. But not only are they telling people to not vote today, not need it until the general election in November,
right?
But, they're using that artificial intelligence, and they're using doing a voiceover of President Biden to get that message out. So just incredibly
vicious,
incredibly dangerous, and vicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Barbara, also today we're in mourning.
Yes, we are.
The King family once again has had a tragedy that has come their way with the third child, Dexter King, who passed away from prostate cancer. Barbara, it's just a family that really, the prayers have got to go up. Dexter King, who's 62 years old and passed away from prostate cancer. Way too young. And then prior to that, a couple of years back, we had Yolanda King that passed away. She was 51 years old. Just incredibly young for folks to be passing. Dexter King, Barbara, we know that he was named after Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, right?
I know, isn't that amazing? Alabama. Yeah.
And, just incredible. He was 7 years old when Dr. King was assassinated back on April the 4th of 1968. Just, incredible person that really is going to be missed. And we're fortunate in the state of Maryland, where you and I are, that, we have here dedicated one of the first in the country, Coretta Scott King Memorials, that's in Anne Arundel County, along with the only state, marker for Dr. King that's at a community college, at the Anne Arundel Community College for Martin Luther King Jr., and the Foot Soldiers Memorial. So we have 3 memorials in our state that are dedicated for Dr. King and the family. But, a day like today, you want to go and just lay a rose, Barbara, and remember the thoughts and remember the sacrifices of the King family and all that they've done, Barbara.
Absolutely. And I just want everyone to know that, he took over from his mother as chairman of the Dr. Martin Luther King Center which is the Center for Peace and Justice. Amazing. If you've never been to Atlanta, if you're going to Atlanta, please stop by the King Center and pay tribute. You'll learn so much. And he ran that center every year, putting out the theme and announcement for each year's MLK Day. He really was focused on young people and getting young people engaged. And of course, that's going to be a highlight of our show today. And Daryl, do we have a special tribute for Dexter today?
Well, we do have, and has Carl Snowden joined us? No, he has not yet.
Yes.
Okay, well,
yes.
Okay.
Hey, Carl. Okay, fantastic. Barbara, I want to certainly welcome Carl Snowden with the Caucus of African American Leaders.
Oh, yes.
Who has really been one of the people that has spearheaded a lot of the monuments and the tributes that are around Anne Arundel County and parts of the state of Maryland have been influenced by and attributed to the King family. I know that Carl certainly wanted to make acknowledgement of what was happening there too, Barbara.
Oh, yes, please, Carl. Welcome to Igniting Change. We can't wait to hear your sage voice speak about the tremendous loss of Dexter King.
Well, Barbara, let me just, before saying that, thank you for putting out that clarion call to voters in New Hampshire not to listen to that robot call. It's another modern-day suppression of people voting. And so I'm delighted that you made it very, very clear that people, if you really want to honor Dexter King, honor him by doing what his father would have done. His father once said the greatest march that one can make in a democracy is the march to the ballot box. And on this day, people should be marching in great numbers to the ballot box, reminding the nation of the importance of our democracy. One of the things that many people have forgotten as it relates to Dexter King and the King family. Most people know that Martin Luther King Jr. was the victim of assassin's bullet, but far too many people are unaware that Dexter's grandmother, Mama King, was murdered in a church on June 30th, 1974. That particular family, the King family, paid a great price and have made tremendous sacrifice. And again, I can't underscore the importance of people understanding if Martin Luther King Jr. was with us today, if Yolanda King was with us, if Coretta Scott King was with us, if Dexter King was with us, they would be urging people to do what you said, Barbara, in the beginning of this program. Go to the ballot box. Vote your hopes, not your fears. Vote your dreams. There's so much we need to do to put America back on the right course. And I just want to personally take this moment to thank Dexter, 62 years old, died of prostate cancer. And for black men in particular, please get your annual checkup.
Listen, everybody. Say it again.
For black men in particular, please get your annual checkup. Prostate cancer need not be at the death of an individual. There are many prominent men of color who've had prostate cancer. Dick Gregory, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Cornel West. They all survived it. And again, the annual checkup is absolutely necessary.
All right. Thank you so much. One of the things we loved about Dexter King is his commitment to young people. And everyone, I am so glad that, to have my remarkably committed and super brilliant co-host, because I was scheduled for jury duty, but they didn't call my group today, so I'm off. But Daryl has done all of the work on the show, and he, of course, has a heart for the youth. And yesterday, we actually did a presentation last night to 200 journalists, and people were trying to look for a bright spot. And what did we say, Daryl?
Oh, yeah, Barbara. We said the bright spots are there. You don't even have to look hard. You talk about the Confederate statues that came down. Those were young voters that did that. You talk about people marching because of George Floyd. There's young voters that did that. You talk about the federal legislation on gun banning. Young voters that did that. My goodness. You talk about re-engaging on the environment in the international stage. Young voters did that. So the young voters are there, and they're active, and they want to be involved. But we've got to be certain that we continue to encourage them and to point out, and this is what we told the press yesterday, Barbara, got to be certain to let the young voters know of their victories and stop telling them that they're failures.
Right, and stop telling them that they're apathetic, they're uninvolved, and all that other nonsense that they say that people believe. But we are happy that our show today is about our beautiful, amazing young people, and we are so happy to be able to bring you a show that's totally focused on our amazing Gen Z leaders. You know, people love to say next generation. They love to say our future leaders, but they forget that king of, my goodness, poor John Lewis, only 23, right, in front of the Washington Monument. People forget that they are current leaders, and that's why our show is entitled We Got Now, Gen Z Voters Overcoming Voter Obstacles. I turn it over to you, Daryl.
Thanks so much, Barbara. We have with us just an amazing panel of folks. We have with us Cameron Barnes. Cameron, are you there?
I'm here, Attorney Jones. It's always good to be with TJC.
Oh, man, we enjoy having you. Cameron hails out of Chicago, a big Bears fan, but he's a TJC fellow, as well as the National Youth Activist, the Associate Minister for New Faith Missionary Baptist Church there in Chicago, and a former director of the former National Youth Director for the Rainbow Push Coalition. So, Cameron, welcome aboard. We also have for a returning trip, Barbara, Daryl Fambro, goes by Clarence Fambro, but we call him Daryl. He's a senior in Atlanta at Morehouse College, where Dr. King attended, a TJC fellow as well, self-employed entrepreneur. He recently, Barbara, was a keynote speaker at the Barnesville, Georgia MLK Day observance that they just had January the 15th. So welcome back, Darian.
It's so good to be with you all, as always. Wonderful to hear y'all's voices again.
All right now.
We also have with us, Barbara, Mollie Duffy, who's a student at Miami University of Ohio. She, too, is a TJC fellow. And Barbara, from the organizing she learned from doing TJC, she's going to talk about it some during this show. But during the organizing from the TJC, she went out to Miami University and organized buses to take students to the polls at Miami University of Ohio. Mollie, welcome to the show as well.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you guys so much, and I cannot wait to talk about my activism in Ohio.
All right now. And, what I love about you, Mollie, is that all of our guests are just amazing. But I just love the fact that you overcome that very common form of voter suppression that students face when there's no polling site on their campus, and when they make it so hard that students cannot just walk to a polling site, that they need transpo. That is what we call a form of voter suppression. So I turn it back to you, Daryl.
Thank you, Barbara. So with that, let's get into it. And I think that Brian Sanders is going to be joining us as we move forward in this show out of Milwaukee with Milwaukee Voices as well. So, Cameron, let's come over and talk to you first. There's a lot of talk about this 2024 election that's underway, and, we have seen just record numbers of young voters that have been coming out over the last decade or two, just showing up to the polls and showing their interest. What do you anticipate happening in this 2024 election cycle?
I really anticipate for young voters to continue doing what we've been doing. I think that politics has now become a common table issue even among my generation. If you remember in yesteryear when we were growing up, we were not so, thinking about politics, what was going on at the time that our parents
We have a little bit of interference going on there, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is that me or?
Yeah, we think it's you, and also I want everybody who's not speaking, put your phones on mute. until it's time to speak. But also, and Cameron, just get closer into your mic. Go ahead.
Okay. And so we were not so much as always available to politics and everything.